Will I be the astronaut if I tell my brother I don't want his fiancée at our movie nights? Mine, 27, brother, 30, and I have been having movie nights once a month since we were kids, or sometimes book clubs if we don't feel like watching a movie but have read the same book. His fiancée, 29, Kelly, has joined us in the past year, and I'll be honest, I hate it. Not her. She's nice and a lovely person in any other context, but watching movies/series/cartoons with her, or even talking about the books, is a terribly tiring experience. Every time my brother and I talk about why a character did something, she just says the director or creator wanted it that way, or this action just fit the scene, or the narrative needed the character to do this and feel that. Another time, my brother and I were watching an animated movie, and at one point I started crying because there was a really sad scene with a child being attacked by their parents. My brother was also sad, but then I noticed Kelly staring at the TV completely blank. I thought she wasn't having fun, so I asked her about it. She said she was having fun, so I asked her if she didn't like this character. I tried to have a conversation with her. She said the character was okay, so wasn't she sad? It's a fictional character. Why would I be sad for them? Like, she didn't say it maliciously. She looked genuinely surprised when I asked her about it. This made me start observing her a little more closely during the shows, and then I noticed that she actually doesn't react at all. Whether something is funny or sad, she always looks at it with the same expression. And when she talks about what we watched, she focuses more on the animation, acting, and voice actors, etc. I tried to adopt her taste and start playing more comedies, musicals, movies that she called her favorites, but even then, I can only describe her expressions during the movie as straight-faced. She claims that she's having fun, but the monotonous with which she talks about everything and the way that she reacts really makes me feel uncomfortable, as if Kelly was forced to be there. And I have to say again, I like her. In any other way, she's a really nice person. She's helped me many times in the past, and I feel like she's the one of those people who really listens when you tell them something. I wouldn't say she lacks empathy for other people either. She's just completely different from me in that one aspect, and it doesn't really work. And it actually irritates me more and more, and I don't want it to get worse. That's why I'm thinking about talking to my brother, but I'm afraid he'll be offended or that I am overreacting. Okay. Before the edits, I do want to chat about this for a second. My first thought here was she's definitely a neurodivergent, right? And it can be just this is the way that she absorbs movies. Or it could be that you know, in a previous time, maybe she was doing film school or more involved in the creative side of things. And the more production involved you are, the more likely you're going to be to focus on that watching movies.
I was going to say it's more like people who absorb the lyrics or people who absorb the music.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. She says she's a great person. She doesn't lack empathy, all of these things. I would say look at what you're reacting to, and like, your reactions are your own, and policing how your brother's fiance is reacting to a movie is not something that you should concern yourself with, in my opinion. And it's like, you like her as a person, and sometimes we have our quirks and you got to take the good with the bad. And I'm not saying that what she's doing is bad, but like, in your mind it is, but sometimes people are just quirky and sometimes we're different. And even though those differences you may not understand, that doesn't mean that it is wrong. Like, it doesn't mean that what Kelly is doing in that moment is a wrong thing to do.
Yeah. So it may be here, like, what I feel like would be the best possible outcome from this is that you, OP, realize that she's very different from you in this aspect, which you already know, but be fascinated by that instead of disgusted by it.
Right.
If you could be fascinated by this and learn from it, like somebody who sees something completely different when they look at something than I see it, I want to be like, okay, I saw it. What did you see?
Right.
And then you have somebody with a completely different experience that you could learn from and grow from, but I don't think that's what you're wanting here. The movie time that you have with your brother right now is really like a bonding quality time.
I think you're scrutinizing her more because it's impacting the quality time you had with your brother.
And that's a different conversation, right? It's not about how she's perceiving that or how she absorbs that. It's about it being different and not comforting for you. And because that's like a comfort thing for the two of you, that's the conversation I feel like you need to have with your brother and be like, hey, I think I've realized that you know, this has been a comfort thing for me this whole time, and it's less comforting when she's here. How do you feel? Like, has it changed for you? And just be honest about your feelings, and then see what your brother's feelings there are too. Maybe you can come to some kind of common agreement to have some things or some of those instances or movie nights that are just you guys. But I would urge you to start looking at how she experiences this differently as not a negative and not a weakness just because it's different than yours, because you could learn a lot from this and she could learn a lot from yours. All right, here's the edits. Because I feel like I didn't make myself clear, no, Kelly doesn't behave like this in other situations. She's usually more lively and emotional in conversations, and she also likes to joke around, which makes it even more awkward when all of our conversation about movies are like this. Me, I really like that moment when, brother, yeah, I preferred it when this and that happened, although I can't understand why. Her, it was just the creator's intention, that's why. An awkward moment of silence. Me or brother, so that moment in the movie, I wonder what the character felt when, she, still monotonous, that's what the creator wanted. The music was sad, so the character was probably sad too. Another silence. Me or my brother, so, that last scene was really funny, and her, still monotonous, yes, it was. Moment of silence. That's the edit. Okay. So I get it. It's different, but I don't think anything changes from the conversation we just have, except I would say that you're creeping toward being the asshole because this is your focus. And if you make her being different your focus here, and yeah, maybe like you guys are used to having this conversation where you can dive in and dive deep and speculate. And because you have similar worldviews, because you've lived similar lives, you can really do that with like a shared mind kind of focus, right? If somebody who has a very, very different viewpoint of everything right here, and yeah, she's kind of cock blocking the conversation,
right,
and putting a stop to it when you want to keep investigating further. I understand that, but still the focus is on the comfort time that you had with your brother before. That's being threatened because it's different here. Make that your focus of conversation and do talk to your brother.
I think, yeah. Or even the conversation that you're having where she's saying that's how the creator wanted it. You could just say something like, I like that you focus on the creator. But with that aside, what did you think about the actor or who played this or something to further the conversation if that's what you're after?
Yeah,
I can't really tell what OP is after, if it's the quality time with brother or the conversation stemming from what they're doing. But either way, there are things that you could do to stoke that conversation, or just watch the movie and not your brother's fiance.
Yeah.
Quit looking at her face for something that you want to see and just let her be a person.
Here is a comment and response. Commenter says, why not just keep including her as if she's a relevant part of the conversation? OP responds, you see, the thing is, I've really tried. Like, I really want her to feel like she's part of the conversation. No matter what I do, she always says something that just shuts down the whole discussion and leaves both my brother and me sitting in silence because we don't know what to say anymore. Like, I really feel like I'm talking to a teenager who's in the phase of saying, whatever to everything. But instead, this is a grown woman who in every other situation is lovely and kind, but in this situation, she decided to act like she just came back from a funeral and could say that nothing matters. Even when I try to focus more on what my brother is saying, she still comes back with the same lines. Sometimes I feel like I could grab her by the arm and say, listen, I appreciate your perspective and I really like you, but please let me talk about these characters as if they had real feelings. I understand that they don't for you, but I really want to have this conversation, please. And she would still say something like, but they're fictional. Why do you care? This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
I mean, I get it. OP's normal, like his normal is being threatened. His routine, I understand the feelings of frustration. I still don't think anyone is an asshole. I think that this is
cause for a conversation with your brother. Mm-hmm.